Well, good morning, everyone. I'm getting ready to do my polyester repair this morning. So I'm just gonna be taking a walk through here of my storage room here, and I'm going to have to gather up a kit here so I can do. I've been practicing some polyester repair, so. Here's just some of my sandpaper and miscellaneous polishes and lighting and all the buffing wheels and all the good stuff. So we'll give it a try this morning. All right, so what we're trying to do here is do a little bit of quick practice here. I want to see if I can scrape this edge off here a little bit. Got this really nice scraper here. Yeah, it's just a matter of, that's nice, very nice. That's all fine. I guess sanding, we need to figure out what we're going to do with sanding here. Do have these really nice sanding things here. Just for fun, we'll start with the 400 grit. See what that does. Should some tight. Well, the problem with, it's hard to control that. I mean, it might be fine. Okay. Well, it's going to take a while. Holy heck. Well, that's what we're talking about. That makes it like glass. All right, so just take you for a little bit of a walk through here. We just packed everything up. This is how I kind of group things together, and I use a lot of these plastic bins and try to keep things somewhat organized. I mean, this morning I'm just kind of going through and thinking of every possible last thing I might need for this job. So I think we got it here, and then with the idea that when I come back, this is my storage room. It needs organizing anyways. It's kind of exploded here with With me now getting into some refinishing repair, I've had to buy some more supplies, a lot of liquids in here, and sanding, all sorts of odds and ends, buffing wheels, whatever. But yeah, so let's keep going here. So what we're looking for is this guy back here. Roll this guy out of here. I've just fully loaded my vehicle here, which is a big part of the job, to get that all ready and organized. I came out to my storage unit here. So this is a pretty big job to do at a customer's house. But it's a really nice piano, and he can't find anyone else to do it. In fact, he's had someone already start the repair, so as you'll see here in a little bit, part of my job will be to kind of work with what's already been done. But I'm excited. I think this will be an interesting job. Certainly not something I do every day. So here we are now at the customer's house. This was in the basement, so I had to haul all those tools. It's the all-important coffee. So I think I counted 10 trips to the car and back. Here's the room, kind of a... and there's the piano. And here's the repair that we're dealing with. It was right on the front of the piano, so and then it had gotten chipped off there coming down those stairs. And so here we're just trying a few different things to get that wood filler out. Just a Dremel tool and sanding and just taking it down to the wood basically.
How's it going so far?
Good, so far so good.
So you have to like, I see, you're removing what he put it there.
Yeah. It probably would have been fine, but in the off chance that that substrate fails,
Well,
you know.
we wanna, you're increasing, you want the best chance of a good outcome.
Yeah. So instead of just, you know, what I'm going to do is, once I get this cleaned up, I'm going to seal that with lacquer.
Right.
Dry that with a hair dryer. Tip the piano on its back, and then I'll build up basically a tape dam. If you can envision that, the piano will be on its back with this tape coming up, and then I'll be mixing my polyester, and I'll be doing it in 2 pours. The first pour is just mostly to fill this gap, and then the second pour will build up just a little bit of thickness over the entire surface. So the entire front piece will be a nice new piece on there, and then I'll sand that all perfectly flat and get that all polished up to a mirror finish.
Wow.
So,
Exciting.
it is exciting, yeah.
Really cool, Andrew. Thanks for explaining it.
My pleasure. Piano rolled nice. There were marbles underneath, so that was kind of funny. I think they had a cat at the house. Oh, my light. I really like my light. That was a great purchase. And this back is kind of cool. All right, polyester time. So I'm just taking my thermometer out. This material is somewhat finicky, so it has to be at or ideally it's at a very specific temperature. About 82 degrees is Fahrenheit is what I was aiming for to get the air bubbles out. And I had swirled the can earlier that morning. It's all about air bubbles. And also mixing the contents very thoroughly, and having it all at the right temperature. And then mixing the ratios correctly and in the proper order. But the nice thing about this material is that you can do the repair on the spot because it cures very quickly. So you have about 5 minutes or less even with the setup time after the hardener has been added. So here I'm just putting a little dab on, but I mixed a little bit more than I usually do. I 1.5 times my mixing ratios just so I would make sure that I would have enough for the pour to fill. I wasn't exactly sure how much I'd use, and actually I ended up only doing one pour. There was enough that I added less. You can see there the sides of the tape, about 1/8 of an inch or less over the entire surface, and here it is. It went on very nicely. So you can see how the edges kind of curl up a little bit right around the very edge. So that's a bit of work to get that off, to scraped off, and then round it over. That's not a square profile, but it's a rounded edge. But and then from here, I let it set up about before I started sanding, maybe 45 minutes. They say you can start sanding. I've heard I don't know exactly, I 20 or 30 minutes, but I wanted to make sure. I think I peeled the tape off a little earlier than that, but there's kind of a sticky residue on there. There's a wax in there. I think it's a paraffin wax that rises during the curing process, so that comes to the outside. So you just sand that off, and here now begins the process of sanding and scraping. And basically the idea is to try and get that perfectly level using whatever method. So I guess trying to be somewhat efficient about it. And here now I switched to a sanding block. I got those edges knocked down. I think I went with 600 grit here. And then sanded at different angles, kind of using the edges as a guide, because I didn't want to put deep gouges in the middle because I'd only have to sand that out later. So I was just going at it gently. And here now I'd switched again. I think I don't know. And I'm just you can see how I'm kind of rounding now over the edges. So again, just a process of working it down using whatever method and whatever grits. So now we're switching to a wet sanding. I think this was, we were probably up to about 1,000 grit at this point. So, and always something important with it, or something to make it easier to watch. You sand in different directions, so you're always sanding out previous grains or previous grits. So like here I'm sanding out the 600 grit, and I keep sanding until all those marks are gone, and then I know it's time to move up to the next grit. So, and this wet sanding is nice, it's fun. You make a little slurry there, and then you have to just continuously wipe it off and check your work. And this is all lighting is very, very important. And now here I'm doing there was this one spot up around the top. It was a little tricky to get into, but so I've now switched to this, just kind of using my finger there. But you have it sands so slowly that is such hard material that it's with those fine grits, it's unless you're being like crazy aggressive, you're pretty safe on a lot of that, because if you make a mistake, you can always just kind of go back. I don't know what kind of mistake you would make exactly, but Preferably none. Oh, and then yeah. So, uh, where are we here? Still wet sanding. Oh, and so I guess yeah, we sanded up to about I think 3,000 grit was the highest that I had. Uh, I Yeah, so you can go a little higher than that ideally, but with this buffing here, you just might have to buff slightly longer to get a mirror finish, I guess they call it. You're basically trying to melt that surface layer just with those a little bit of friction here with the buffing wheel and compound here. So and this is just on a low speed, and just basically you work it going different directions. So just again slow and steady, and if you're set up correctly at no given point are you risking damage. I mean, hopefully this was all. Oh, now we're into the polishing stage, and this is quite this was fun to do. This little sponge here with that was a McGuire's carb polish, basically a high, one of the very final finish polishing pastes. This whole process is very similar to car type stuff. So, but a lot of fun to do, and I think we had a pretty good result here. So I'm all in all very pleased with how it turned out. And this was a good opportunity to vacuum the bottom. Also vacuumed out the back, as you saw earlier in the video. And then also we tightened the screws here, which they all turned a little bit, and the ones in the middle right under the pedals all turned a little bit more, so they had worked a little looser. So this is nice, just makes that bottom panel there a little more solid. Potential squeaks can come from there, or with loose screws, or extra flex in the pedal that doesn't need to be there, so that just tightened things up. Good opportunity to do that. And I was happy with how the whole tipping process went. It had been a while since I had done that, so that went very smoothly. And humidity control system, that was fine. That we just emptied the tank, and here we are just doing now the final polish, and under light, to get it as clean as possible here. Or actually, I shouldn't even say that. I just did a quick once over basically on the whole thing, just to get some of the sanding dust out of there. And then under light here again, just really tried to. There were a few tiny little spots here that I just wanted to go over again. And the idea with a lot of this is really just to get that damaged area blend or repaired, so it doesn't catch your eye so much. And I think we achieved that.